And here we go. Here is the final result of the Sarmi. Or again, in English, Dolma. So this is very exciting because it's now the end of June, beginning of July, and the grape leaves are perfect for Sarmi, or in English I think people call them Dolma. This is just one of the many things I eat with my grandma. She cooks. Now, let's talk about how to choose the correct grape leaf because not all of them work. This one will do. This one will not, and I'll explain why. You have to make sure that they're not too old, but yet not too little. So for example, these here are perfect. You see? They're young, the veins are not too big, but they're not too small. Like for example, you know, this or this, even though they're young. Here's a Well, this is a decent one. It's not perfect. You see the veins are a little bit too big. You want them to be young. Here, this is a perfect one. Let me show you why. It's really about the texture. You can kind of see that the veins are a bit smaller. They're softer. And it's not too small to where you can't fold them. See, this is too small even though it's young. This one's good. This one does not work. I mean, you can tell why. I don't think I need to explain. This one also doesn't work. Ooh, these are excellent. Okay, I'm gonna voice over here a little bit because that you heard there was my uncle getting going with the lawnmower. So yes, there's a lot of work that goes into maintaining a house like this. If you've seen my other videos, you know all about it. But to keep going with how to choose the grape leaves, the shade of green, it shouldn't be too dark because that implies that the leaf is older, and it shouldn't be too obviously small because how are you going to make the same size sarmi? You want everything to be roughly uniform so that your dish is not just delicious but also beautiful. The veins shouldn't be too big because then it becomes very stringy and chewy. What we want is a perfectly sized, tender sarmichka. The mini lesson in Bulgarian, some of you guys I know are moving over here. When you add ka, like sarmichka or chka at the end of the word, it makes the sarma a cute little small thing. This is just something really cool that we don't really have in English, and I know some of you guys have been asking me to speak in Bulgarian a little bit so you can learn. So there's a little preview. Cool. I think we got a decent amount. My grandma's pile is a little bit more professional than mine. See, hers are a little bit smaller and fresher. Mine are a little bit too big, but she kind of picked all the smaller ones, and I have a few people who want me to bring them some, so I figured it's better a little bit bigger ones than nothing. And we're at my grandma's mountain house right now. It's a very old house that her grandma, her mom and her, basically her parents built. My great-grandma. We're here to try to restore it a little bit. It breaks her heart because she put her heart and soul into this house, and everything's just gotten old. Look, you could even see that my little friend over here got old. It used to be so beautiful. But nothing that a good amount of work can't fix. This was sewn by or knitted by her grandma. And look what happened to it. It's sitting here, it's getting old. But anyway, a little work goes a long way. Here's how we get water. Down into our sink, which I'll show you right now. Let's just head over there. Ow! Look. We swept and swept, and it still became a mess because we keep on cutting more and more grass. There we go. That's why she's filling it, because it's not been used for a while, so it's rusty. So we're gonna drain the rust and then fix the pipe. Honestly, that entire barrel needs to be changed, but for now it'll do. Not for drinking, but for washing fruits, stuff like that. Even that's not the best, but a little bit of rust won't harm us. If you know how many parties went on here, look at it now. It's okay. We'll clean it up. Oh, hello. How many feasts happened here? We're gonna have a little mini feast of our own right now, once we finish cleaning. I don't usually like bread, but this, a whole nother ballpark. Nothing like you get in the store. And no, our feast wasn't just wild strawberries and bread. Just for the first time ever, I preferred fruits and bread over meat, which is really weird for me. And I think it just shows that everything that's clean and natural and really, really just comes from nature and is homemade is a whole nother story than what you get in the store. A strawberry actually tastes like a strawberry. All right. And here's the result for now. Those of you who've seen parts 1 and 2, you know why I'm showing these results. A lot of work went into this. A lot more work left, but not bad for now. This little guy is looking better. Down there, the grass is cut. Yeah, I'm gonna spare you guys that awful sound of the lawnmower. It's like, I hate that sound. But just as a little mini preview, for those of you who haven't seen parts 1 and 2, this is what goes into maintaining an old house that no one has been to for years. For those of you guys who have stuck with me through parts 1 and 2, don't worry. Yes, finally, we will get to the final result of the sarmi. But upon filming my grandma making the sarmi, I found out that my storage was full and had no idea until after, so I don't have it filmed, but I will tell you how to make them at home and then you'll see the final result. First, of course, you're going to need grape leaves, which I know might be hard to find, but I think in Greek stores you might be able to find them jarred. You're going to need 3 onions, 2 cups of rice, and Bulgarian chubrica, but if you can't find that, then you can use oregano. Just a tip that I strongly recommend. If you can't pick your own herbs, which is totally understandable, most people in cities especially can't, try to make sure you get it from a specialized herb store, because there really is a big difference, and Bulgarian cooking is all about the spices and all about the herbs. So a store like this would be perfect. Now back to the ingredients. You're also going to need 3 cups of water, 3 tablespoons oil, and 1 teaspoon of paprika, or red pepper, just not spicy. And if you're already living in Bulgaria, you've probably seen pazari like this. In English, we would call this a farmer's market, but it's not that fancy farmer's market that you get in New York, where everything is $1,000 for like a tomato. Here, this is just what people grow. They go and they sell. And we, with my grandma, if we can't grow something or we need something urgently, or my grandma, like that lives in the city, for example, needs to buy something, we always go for the pazar, not for the supermarket. So if you're living in Bulgaria, make sure you're shopping at the pazar. What you're going to want to do to start is steam the grape leaves. Fry up the onions until they're nice and brown, add water, and then you can add the spices and the paprika. Just make sure you always add paprika after you've added water and towards the end usually, because it burns quickly. Let this boil until the water is absorbed fully, and you're going to get this nice thick consistency. Of course, you add salt, and if you want black pepper by taste. Now, I like to add meat in my sarmi. This is a vegetarian version of it, but if you want, you can add meat to this as well, like ground beef or ground pork. Next step, you're going to take your grape leaves and put the stuffing inside. Just make sure it's not too much and not too little. You want to be able to fold over the grape leaves fully so that they're not bursting, but they're also not empty. From here, there's two steps you can take. You can either stick them into a pot, make sure that they're snug nicely next to one another, cover with water, and then you can boil for about 45 minutes. Or you can put them into a clay casserole type pot. You're going to see at the very end and at the beginning of my video, that was a very Bulgarian clay pot. It works perfect and bake. In my opinion, they come out better this way. And that's really all there is to it. Much easier than it seems when you eat them in a restaurant, right? Now, just make sure that you have a side of yogurt because they're best enjoyed with some yogurt on the side. You mush them all around and it's just so good. And here we go. Here is the final result of the Sarmi. Or again, in English, Dolma is what I think everyone calls them. I'm gonna grab one to show you. Falling apart a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Inside it's full of meat, rice, and herbs. Ah, perfect. On the bottom, you see that different color sarma? That's made out of cabbage leaves. That one down there. When we start eating them, I'm going to show you a little bit better. But that's the result. And you cook them in, yes, this beautiful clay pot. You can do it in a normal pot too, but the clay pot just tastes better. Tastes better. And this is at the house of my other grandma in Pazardzhik, Baba Vera. And Baba Vera is my grandma who raised us on the farm with my sister when my mom and dad would send us there over the summer. And my other grandma lives in Sofia. This grandma, Baba Vera, is the one that raised us on the farm. So that's to clear up the air a little bit and I guess clarify. And there you have it. Finally, we've gotten to the actual Sarmi. I'm really excited about that. I really hope you guys enjoyed the whole little mini series there with all of the work that goes into maintaining this type of house, as well as the wild strawberries and Sarmi themselves. Just make sure you try cooking them on your own. You're not going to regret it. If you have any questions about the recipe, just leave me a comment. And I guess, as always, I'm just going to thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys next Sunday.